So if you've been thinking about getting into resin 3D printing, or maybe you already started, you might have purchased a printer recently and you're just kind of figuring out where to go next. There's one thing you're going to really need to consider and plan accordingly for when you're using resin for resin 3D printing, and that is the fumes. Resin printing produces some incredible detail because the pieces you get, the parts you make, are just phenomenal. But it also comes with some very serious safety considerations. Today I'm going to show you the ventilation system that I built that allows me to run multiple resin printers while keeping the air in my workshop as clean as possible. This isn't a foolproof plan, but it's the way I felt was best. There were multiple ways to do this. Some people set up a grow tent with extraction. Some people set up an enclosure. Lots of things can be done. But after a bit of research and borrowing from some of my past experience working in labs, this solution felt like the right one for me in my workspace. Hopefully by sharing it with you, you can maybe build out something similar to make sure that you are safe while using resin and doing resin 3D printing. Now going back to the resin 3D printing itself, the detail is amazing, but you have to address the elephant in the room. Resin is toxic. Manufacturers are going to give you some varying levels of information as to how toxic it is and how dangerous it could be, going from not dangerous at all and organic to extremely dangerous and you should be cautious. But what you really want to look at is the MSDS, or the Material Safety Data Sheet. This document tells you the full picture. It gives you exactly what's in this resin, what chemicals are in them, and what your exposure level should be to use it safely. It is absolutely not something you want to be breathing in, and it's definitely not something you want on your skin. As you can see from these images that are going to come up now, and you may want to fast forward ahead if you tend to be a little squeamish when you see skin damage and skin injuries, but these skin rashes were because someone touched the resin in the resin printer or on their parts and didn't take the necessary precautions. To me, this is serious stuff. I don't want my skin to look like this. I don't want to go through this damage or this reaction. And resin toxicity tends to be cumulative. So the more the exposure is, or the more times you get exposed, the worse the reaction. Resin 3D printing has the issue of VOCs. VOCs are the volatile organic compounds that get released by the resin into your workspace and get breathed in. Me, I wanted to make sure I could aggressively extract all those fumes out of my workspace so I didn't have to deal with them. I didn't want to breathe them in. I didn't want them reaching my lungs, not only for me, but for children, pets. I wanted my space to be as safe as possible. I used to work, or spent many years working in a lab. And in that lab, they had these giant, massive extraction hoods that were designed to keep you, the operator, safe while working with chemicals that were hazardous. So I wanted to create something like that, something similar to what we would consider like a biosafety cabinet class 1 type of negative pressure hood. If you're not familiar with the concept, a negative pressure hood is very simple, but it's incredibly effective. You have a giant fan as big as you can get that's comfortably fit in the space, that is constantly pulling air from the room through your workspace and forces it completely outside through an exhaust port or opening. Why is this effective? Because if air is being pulled into your enclosure constantly, there's no opportunity for air from within the enclosure to escape out into your environment. So as long as you can keep a little bit of pressure going and that exhaust is just pulling air in slightly, nothing is really going to be moving into your workspace. It's all going to remain within the enclosure itself. As long as this negative pressure is applied, you are safe. And that is exactly what I wanted. So how did I actually build this in a standard room? Well, to be fair, I wanted to start with the room itself. I actually built this in a shed outside in my backyard. So I set up a pre-built shed and that became my workshop area. Next, we want to look at the enclosure itself, right? I picked a shelving unit that was 72 inches across. So very large enclosure, because I wanted to have all my resin components in there, the printers, the wash and cure stations, the drying units, everything in there that had to do with resin that was contaminated. I wanted it away from me in that space, locked away. So I picked a pretty large shelving unit, but if you want to go a little bit smaller, that's totally fine. I also run a Etsy store and I do resin 3D printing for that store, so my use case is slightly different than yours perhaps. I made sure to pick one that had these special legs that have the brackets in them that allow you to mount the shelf any spot you want, any height, because I wanted to make sure to have all my shelves at the bottom close together and then a large space between the top shelf at the top of the ceiling and then another shelf to allow a lot of room for me to put all these machines and wash and cure stations and everything else in there comfortably. This allows me to keep the bottom as storage that's not enclosed, just sealed bottles, sealed alcohol bottles, storage, and the top being the enclosed unit. Now we have to make that top space enclosed or airtight, or as airtight as we can get. So to do that, we got some custom cut plexiglass panels for the sides. We measured out everything, got the panels we needed, and then put a very long panel for the back, 2 smaller panels on each side, and then 2 for the front to act like French doors, left side and right side. And then we put heavy duty weather stripping or sealing on all the areas where the plexiglass touches or comes into contact with the enclosure itself. This allows me to ensure that air is not being pulled in from those gaps. I wanted the air to be minimally pulled in from only certain areas so that I don't have to extract aggressively with the fan and can use the lowest setting to just keep the negative pressure going. I also use some silicone gapping to kind of seal off, or sealant to seal off all the edges where the panels came into contact with the enclosure, so it'll be very little air ingress from any other locations that I didn't want it to come in through. Those front doors were attached with hinges on either side, and then I went and sealed those hinges with that same sealant to ensure that there's no opening where those screws went through. Now to power the whole thing, I attached a dedicated extraction fan. I picked I think it's an AC Infinity extraction fan or something similar. It's basically the biggest inline extraction fan I could find. And I set that up to extract directly to the outdoors, and I attached it to the enclosure through a vent line. The side of the panels, I opened a opening on the side of the panels and set it pretty low because resin fumes are a little bit heavier than air, so I want to make sure that gets extracted out. And that fan runs 24/7 at the lowest setting. This just keeps that negative pressure going so that none of the air inside the enclosure can leak into the room. So lowest pressure possible, constantly running the whole time, creating that gentle vacuum. Inside this mega enclosure station thing, I've got 2 resin printers running alongside with my alcohol wash and cure stations. Absolutely nothing leaves this acrylic enclosure until it is completely washed and 100% dry, so that there's not going to be any VOCs from the resin itself, of course, or from the alcohol on the resin parts when they were washed. So it all stays contained within this space. Now at some point you are going to have to open these doors, right? These doors are not going to be remaining closed at all times. So when that happens, I have a pretty strict safety protocol when you need to go in there and get a print or refill a tank or wash and cure your print. I maximize the extraction fan to the max setting. I just crank it all the way up and I let it extract aggressively for a few moments, make sure everything gets pulled out of that enclosure fully. Then I open it up, but I'm wearing a half mask respirator with the VOC rated cartridges to ensure that I'm not breathing in anything at all when that's open. To be fair, with the max fan just running, just exhausting continually, there's very little smell at all because it's just constantly pulling everything away from me. But even then, I still use that ventilator because I don't want the ventilation mask, because I don't want to be exposed. And to me, that's the safest way to approach this. That pretty much sums up the entire build. Again, this isn't designed to eliminate every possible risk. You are working with a toxic chemical. You need to address that as best you can, but this should dramatically reduce the amount of resin vapor that can enter the room you're working in and should reduce the amount of exposure you have while doing your printing and washing and curing and everything else. And I know there's gonna be people already in the comments that are gonna be typing up 18 paragraphs, a complete dissertation about how they've been printing in their room for years and they have 15 resin printers that they are running at all times, nonstop, in every bedroom of the house. And they sleep in that room and they don't wear gloves because gloves are for sissies. And they don't wear a ventilator or a ventilation mask because the resin smell doesn't bother them. They actually like it. And they drink resin straight from the bottle every morning for breakfast. And it is delicious and nutritious. And if that's you, congratulations. If you're a resin warrior, go you, I guess. But personally, I'm gonna keep wearing my respirator when I'm dealing with this toxic chemical. I'm gonna keep trying to keep this resin off my skin by wearing gloves. I'm gonna vent all these fumes outside of my enclosure. You only get 1 pair of lungs. I'd rather spend a little extra on effort to protect them and ensure that I'm doing the best I can to give me the amount of safety I can gather and muster for myself, than treat it very nonchalantly, not really worry about it, not take it seriously, and then discover in a few years that I should have, that now there's a problem and now I need to address it and now it's too late. So do with that what you will. It's your lungs, it's your skin, you do what you want. But if those images we saw earlier are any indicator of what could happen from resin exposure on the skin, I'd hate to see what it's doing in the lungs if you're breathing that in and day out. But again, you do you. And that wraps up the entire build out. I'm gonna put some links below for Amazon, some similar products, the inline extraction fan, the enclosure I used. You don't have to buy these. These are not affiliate links. I really don't care where you buy this stuff from, but it's just to give you an idea of what I purchased. So you have an idea of what type of materials I use. Feel free to leave a comment. If you have any questions, any concerns, anything you want to know more of, I'm happy to help and answer those questions. Just drop a comment below. With that said, this wraps up the video. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. We got more content coming up. We got some painting videos coming up, some new paints that we acquired that we're gonna show off on the channel, like we did with the Pro Monument one-step paints. So drop a like, drop a subscribe, and just keep on tuning in. Until the next video, keep on printing, be safe, take care. I'll see you on the next one.